Hi everyone, this is Professor Katie King. I am welcoming you to this first day of English 103 for summer 2020. You can't really see my face just yet. Don't worry, you're going to see it in plenty of videos throughout the length of this course. What I really want to get to though, as I do with all syllabus days, is just diving right in and going over the syllabus with you. As you can see, we are on the class Canvas page, and I'm actually going to switch it to student view so that you can we can both see what it'll look like from your point of view. So what you'll see here is what you should see when you log into Canvas from a laptop or a computer. If you are logging in from your phone, the format may look a little bit different, but everything in terms of accessing resources and materials should still be there. So for day one, you see Welcome to English 103. We're going to go over the syllabus in a moment, and I'll talk about the discussion board that is due at the end of the day on Monday, June 15th at 11:59 p.m. But before we do that, I'm going to do a quick Canvas navigation so that you can understand where items will be found and when, how to look for them, how to find them, etc. So first off, this is the home page, right? So everything you'll need will be set up here, and it's set up according to days. There are technically 24 days in this summer semester. So every single week you should see 4 days set up. Right now there's only 2. I'm going to be setting up the other 2 tomorrow before the class begins on Monday. But I'm kind of glad that I have it this way for now so that it's easy to kind of read, so to speak. So every week you'll see 4 days set up. So this week will be days 1, 2, 3, and 4. Next week will be days 5, 6, 7, and 8, and so on and so forth until the end of the semester. And I'll explain why that is in a moment. But first off, I want you to see that we are on the home page, and the modules do go according to day. So whatever day we are working on, you can find the information under there. If you're looking for the syllabus, you can find it either very first thing up top in Module 1. It'll always be there, or you can go to the toolbar here on the left, click on syllabus, and you'll have the link to the course syllabus there with a cute little picture of bell hooks and a quote from her. I'll click on that syllabus in a moment, but I do want to go through the rest. If you click on the left-hand toolbar, I might have said right-hand toolbar earlier, sorry about that. If you click on the left-hand toolbar at modules, it'll look really similar to the home page because it'll show all of the modules that you can see in front of you. One thing that I like to do just to create space is I like to minimize all the modules that I'm finished with once I'm done with them completely. So that way I kind of psychologically am telling myself like, okay, this is done, I'm done with this, right? It helps me to kind of tie up loose ends in my mind anyway. But if you like to have a lot of detail there and kind of see everything in front of you, you can always keep them maximized. Discussions, we're going to have a lot of discussion board posts required for this course. I do have the first 2 up so far. If you'll notice, you'll see that they're called DBs. And I will often refer to them as DBs. So whenever I say DB, DB1, DB2, DB number 3, etc., you'll know that I'm talking about discussion board posts. And that'll be important when we get to talking about the syllabus in greater depth. So you can find those here. Again, you can also, what's great about Canvas is you can find most things in like 12 different places. If you want to find discussion boards here, you can find them here. You can also find them under the modules. You can also find them on the home page. For assignments, any assignments that are due, upcoming or otherwise, you should see them here. I don't know why DB1 isn't showing up, but maybe it's because it's this week and not next week. For your grades, I'm not going to click on grades because, actually it's student view, so that should be fine. For you, yeah, it is. For your grades, you can always check them. I post grades as soon as I've graded items. So if you don't see it, I haven't graded it yet. So if you're waiting and you're like, yeah, she graded it, just be patient. Know that the moment I grade it, it'll be up here. and emailing me asking me, you know, have you graded it yet? Doesn't make me go any faster. Just an FYI. So you have the status of an item, meaning like if you didn't hand it in, it'll say incomplete. If you submit it late, it might say late. You'll get the score out of the possible points, and that will total you at the bottom there. Okay. Again, not everything is up yet, but as we go through the course, you'll see more and more of these assignments start to be listed on your grade page. You should also on your end have one of those, maybe it's on the Learning Mastery? No. What you'll see once we start grading too is you'll have the ability to kind of, you know, anticipate your score, hopefully, which should be in a box here on the right-hand side. So if you ever want to like grade grab and kind of plan out the grades that you need in order to achieve a certain overall letter grade, you know, I recommend doing that on this page. If you need to contact other people in the class, you can click on the people link. For FERPA, the Federal Education Right to Privacy Act, I will refrain from doing that here, but know that once you click on people, you'll see other people who are registered in this class, and you can message them through Canvas. Files, you don't have to worry about too much, but if you ever don't see like a reading, let's say a PDF of a reading that's on Canvas, if you don't see it under modules or the home page, you can always try looking under files. So for example, like Leith's Rhetoric Then and Now is under files. But again, it's also under the home page, it's also under modules, so you can find it in a lot of different places. Every student at Fullerton College has access to Office 365. So all you need is your student ID and login information, your password or last name or whatever it is when you log in. That should take you, oh, well, it won't take me because I'm faculty. Oh, and I'm on student view, but should take you to the login page. If you're having any trouble, contact Canvas through tech support here, or contact the ACT help desk at fullcall.edu. It's ACT help desk at fullcoll.edu. They should help you with that. If you don't have Google Drive, same thing. You can access Google Drive here. Because I'm masquerading as a student, it's not showing it, but yours should pop up. Again, if that isn't popping up, don't contact me because I don't have the authority to kind of make that accessible to you. You'd have to contact the ACT help desk or contact Canvas support here. And also the Fullerton College Library. We're going to be using this a lot because we're going to be doing research, and even some of our readings will be found at the Fullerton College Library. So make sure you have access to that. It's library.fullcall.edu, but it's also here on the left-hand side. So these are all things that you'll need. If any other categories or assignments come up throughout the course of the semester, the summer session, that are needed, that I want to put there, I will make them visible to you, but I want to keep it as simple as possible so that nothing gets too confusing. So let's go back to the home page. I'm going to brighten this up so you can see me a little bit better. So homepage, as I said, you'll see each module day by day. Each week we'll have 4 modules, because if we think about this as a typical summer school class, which this was originally planned to be, some of you may know, it was going to be a 4-day-a-week, 3-hour-a-day class. So I've kind of set it up in that format, at least module-wise, so that you can kind of keep that schedule for yourselves. And if you can hear that whining, you're going to also be hearing a lot of that this semester. That is my dog Lionel, who is currently fussing at me. You'll also hear a lot of snoring, which is my dog Coleslaw, who are just right on the other side of this laptop on my couch. So English 103, this is day 1. We're going to go over the syllabus in a moment. But one thing I want to show you, and this is very important when you look at day 2, is every single day of work, of activity that we're doing, is set up in the order that we do it, right? So you'll see on the syllabus, when I open that in a moment, if you haven't already perused it yourself, that the first reading for day 2 is Andrea Lunsford's Everything's an Argument, chapter 1, which is also called Everything's an Argument. You'll read that, you'll click on this, which will lead you to a recording of me. And you can't see it right now because I'm in student view, but it'll lead you to a recording, a YouTube recording of me discussing a PowerPoint of the various finer points of that chapter. And you can pause and play it as you like while you're taking notes. You can listen to it on headphones, you know, however you learn best. It's also closed caption because I do it through YouTube. So make sure that, you know, you can utilize that resource however you best learn, whether it's auditory or reading or writing or, you know, all of it's there. Next is the reading. Leith's Rhetoric Then and Now. One thing I want to say about this is that you only have to read to page 32. It starts on this is page 17 of the book. If you skip, you only have to read to page 32 for this reading. Bottom of the page, please, which is the bottom of page 9 up here. So keep that in mind. Then what you'll do is I provided another web teach on that reading. I don't give the whole reading away because that's, you know, it's your job to grapple with it. But I give you kind of the finer points. I go over, you know, kind of an agenda of what to look for in that reading and discuss some of those points. And then, that's still Lionel. And then you have your discussion board for that day. One thing I want to point out about these discussion boards that, ooh, this is not right, that you'll notice, and this should actually say the 21st, not the 28th. Discussion boards every week, unless otherwise noted on the syllabus, will be due on the following Sunday. So for example, this week, all of the discussion boards will be due on Sunday the 21st, not the 28th, the 21st. That's a typo on my part. By the time you watch this video, it will be fixed. So for this week, discussion boards 1, 2, 3, and 4 will be due on the 21st. Does that mean you should wait until the last minute and do everything on Sunday? Absolutely not. You know, if we were to be working in class 3 hours a day, 4 days a week, that's 12 hours a week. And per the college catalog, that's 12 hours a week in person, which requires 24 hours a week on your own outside of this class to do some work. The last I checked, days only last 24 hours, so I would hope none of you wait until Sunday to do all of your work because you're going to be awake for a very long time on that day. So please do the work at a pace that works for you, but also, you know, make note of the fact that unless otherwise noted, weekly assignments are always due on the Sunday at the end of the week. So we'll go back to the home page. We've kind of given you the lay of the land. Again, if you have any questions about any of this, please feel free to email me, message me, and I will clarify anything you need clarifying for that. But I want to dive into the syllabus because, you know, it's the thing we have to get out of the way on the first day. So if you notice here, it's in PDF form. It is very long, and I won't go over every single word in this syllabus. That is your job as the student to read it thoroughly by the end of the day on Monday and to have agreed to its parameters that it sets up. If you don't agree to those parameters, you feel free to drop the course. But again, the syllabus is kind of the contract between myself and the student that, you know, I will be administering this work in a timely fashion, evaluating the work in a timely fashion, and you will be engaging and completing the work in a timely fashion according to the guidelines set forth here. So English 103, it's a summer class, it's all online. One thing you should notice, no Zoom. I am not holding regular Zoom meetings because this is an online class. I think I got my fill of Zoom over the spring semester, and yeah, it's just not for me. So the only time I will utilize Zoom is if anyone wants to make special online office hours appointments with me to ask specific, like face-to-face, well, virtual face-to-face questions. Otherwise, there are no regular Zoom meetings. This is an online course. My contact information is here. Please email me. My campus phone, I'm gonna be honest with you, I probably haven't checked it in like 2 months. You know, I'm at home. I can't even, it's like really hard for me to even get on campus. I gotta basically like go through Fort Knox security. So email me, kking, KKING at fullcall, fullcol.edu. It's on the syllabus there. A little picture here of Gia Tolentino, who is the writer of one of the texts we'll be reading. It's not just some, you know, random woman. She's a very accomplished writer and essayist of this text right here, Gia Tolentino, Trick Mirror. So the 2 required texts, hopefully you got my email last week about the required texts. The first of which is Everything's an Argument by Andrea Lunsford. So I don't care what format you get it in. I don't care if you get an earlier edition, as long as you can keep up with all of the readings that are assigned in the syllabus. You know, if you want to get a print book, if you want to get an ebook, whatever you need, you know, whatever works best for you, just make sure you keep up with all of the readings. And then the other one is Trick Mirror by Gia Tolentino. If you look on the syllabus, it's kind of a yellowish color. Mine's a little bit different. Either one of these is fine. It's the same book. So you can access that as well. Again, softcover, hardcover, ebook, PDF, however you get it, right, is fine with me. I don't, you know, I'm not too bothered by it, but you have to have it because you have to do the readings in order to do the discussion boards properly and get credit for them. There's some recommended text there, required supplies, all the stuff the state forces me to put in there so that they know that, you know, we're not just pretending to do nothing on the internet like the rest of our lives. Instructional objectives, right? So we'll just skip right through that. For save to work, right? Save everything that is evaluated. That's a little bit easier online, right? Because you're not like shoving it into a folder and then losing that folder. But make sure you save everything. Make sure you create a little file folder somewhere on your computer. That's my other dog, Coleslaw, by the way. Make sure you're saving everything on file on your computer, because it's a great habit to get into. Everything in this world relies on documentation. And if I just say I earned an A on this essay and I have no proof of it, no one's going to believe me, right? But if I have that graded essay, you know, and I earned an A on that essay and it says an F in my Canvas grade category, then I have the proof, right? And I can contest that grade. So you need to be the advocates for yourselves and do those sorts of things. So save everything. Trust me, it's going to save you a lot of grief in adulthood. For late work, for major assignments, meaning major essays, the annotated bibliography, anything that's big that we work on as like a process, you have 5 days. And for every day that it's late, you're deducted a letter grade from whatever grade it would have earned. So let's say an essay is due, I don't know, on the 28th. And you hand it in on the 29th. And for all intents and purposes, it were a B paper. You would earn a C because it would be deducted that letter grade, right? Because it was a day late. So that's for major writing assignments. And things like my computer isn't working, or I don't have, well, printer access doesn't even count because it's an online class, but those kinds of excuses don't matter. I don't know how else to say that. For day-to-day work, meaning student engagement, really this is talking about your student engagement grade, discussion boards, quick writes, rough drafts, workshops, If you miss it, it can't be made up. The portal closes at 11:59, either on the Sunday it's due or on the day it's due, depending on what it says in the syllabus. So if you don't complete it by then, you miss the opportunity to get credit for that day-to-day smaller student engagement level assignment. Attendance and participation, because this is an online class, I have to check e-attendance. Well, how do I check e-attendance? I check it essentially through the discussion boards. So in other words, if you miss a discussion board, because we have one essentially every day, that's an absence. And if you accrue more than 2 of those, you may be dropped from the course. Keep that in mind. Why do I do this? Well, I'll tell you a little story. When I was in college, I had a semester where I just didn't go to any of my classes. And I was attending a private university. I had a full scholarship there. So it was kind of important that I attended my classes because it was an academic scholarship. And of those 5 classes that I didn't attend from day 1, I was dropped from 0 of them. And I can tell you to this day that if you stood those professors of those classes in front of me in a lineup, I wouldn't be able to tell you them from Adam. I failed all of those 5 classes because I wasn't dropped from them. And what happened was I lost my scholarship, had to drop out of school, and it took me a long road to get back on track. So I tend to be a little bit of a stickler for attendance. And the reason why is because I don't want to do to anyone else what was done to me, which is, to be kept in a class only to earn an F for a class I never participated in. So, keep that in mind. Your attendance is your business. You don't have to let me know why you're not handing in a discussion board on time. I'm assuming there's a very valid reason for it. If you feel compelled to tell me, be my guest. But it does not change the fact that you lose credit for that assignment. All right, where did I go? I feel like I lost my place a little bit. There we go. Blah, 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 Professor King, blah, blah. Next page. Okay, Netiquette. I expect you to go to online.fullcall.edu/Netiquette, outlined right here, to understand what it means to take an online class. In the same way you wouldn't harass people, in your face-to-face classes, in the same way you would be respectful to your instructor, in the same way that you would try to use the most academic language possible. You want to do all of that here online. That's essentially what Netiquette is. But go to online.fullcall.edu, read it in its entirety, make sure you understand what it is so that you're not violating the rules of Netiquette as set forth by Fullerton College. For the grading policy, you pass with a 70 or above. You do not pass with a 69 or below. Fullerton College, because it's a California community college, does not have pluses and minuses, so you'll either earn an A, B, C, D, or F. No pluses or minuses in there. You can look through the assignments here. We do have 4 essays. I'm really nice. I took one off this last semester, so you're welcome, people I haven't met yet. We do have a mandatory virtual conference meeting, so I guess I actually lied about the whole Zoom thing. You will have one Zoom conference meeting with me where we'll talk about a graded essay of yours. So I will give you plenty of instruction beforehand for that and let you know kind of what to expect and when to schedule yourself and everything, but know that that is there. Those day-to-day online assignments, otherwise known as your student engagement grade. Again, if you miss a discussion board or a rough draft, I'm assuming you have a valid reason, but this is college. It's not high school where you get, however many days you were absent to make it up, it's just gone. We keep moving forward. So keep that in mind. And that really should be the incentive to hand in your work on time. so that you don't let your grades slip. We will have a Hail Mary assignment, which is kind of like an essay makeup assignment. I'll let you know more about that when we're closer to the date. It's essentially usually due 3/4 of the way through the semester, right around the drop date or the withdrawal date. So we'll talk about that in a moment. Then there's some information here about all the resources we have on campus. Clearly, like, you can't go to them in person right now, but the phone numbers are still valid. The things they do still happen. And the best way to access kind of everything you might need to know in terms of getting support is this link to student support services here at the bottom right of page 4. So keep that in mind. All right, so the class schedule, I just kind of want to, I won't go over every single assignment or anything like that, but I just kind of want to show you why I've set it up the way that I've set it up. I've set it up by weeks. So we are currently in week 1. As I said, when I went over Canvas, you see that there are 4 days in each week, right? And that goes for, excuse me, all the weeks. Every week will have 4 days in it. So every week ends on a multiple of 4, day 4, day 8, day 12, day 16, etc. So we'll just look at week 1 because that's where we are now. This first column is the date, right? Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. Pace yourself. Pick any 4 days out of the week you want, right? To be those days. And here's what is due on each day, right? Before completing the assignments, you have to have read the following, right? So before you complete the assignment on day 1, even though you're watching this video right now, read the syllabus thoroughly. The third column here is when assignments are due. So everything in bold in the middle there is an assignment that is due. And then on the far right are the activities that we'll be doing online that correlate with these 2 columns, okay? So in other words, have this read, then do this assignment, and know that on the module, these are the things that we will be doing and looking at, all right? Anywhere where there is an assignment that is due any other day of the week than Sunday, you will see it highlighted in blue here. So right here, discussion on day 1, so that I can make sure everyone who's enrolled in this course is here and doing the work. This one, this very first discussion board is due at the end of the day on Monday the 15th. And again, that is for attendance taking purposes because I have to drop anyone in the class who does not attend the first day. Again, remember how I said I took attendance through discussion boards? This is how I'm making sure everyone is there on the first day of class, on the 15th. So if you don't complete that discussion board by Monday the 15th at 11:59 p.m., you will be dropped from the course. I'm assuming that, you know, you found another 103, you went to another college, whatever it is. If you do not complete the discussion board for day 1 by Monday the 15th at 11:59 p.m., you will be dropped from the course. Any exception is highlighted in blue. Any date exception is highlighted in blue, and due date exception. So keep that in mind. So we have, again, everything is due, see on the syllabus, it's right in the class schedule. Everything's due on the 21st at 11:59, other than this first discussion board here, right? So keep that in mind. Same thing here. You're gonna have a rough draft due next Monday. And the reason why I have you do that due next Monday is so that I can review those rough drafts, give you feedback so that when you go into the final draft, you feel more confident. Same thing for weeks 3, week 4. Those online conferences I talked about are going to be in week 4. Again, we got plenty of time to talk about those. Week 5, again, we have a special due date here that's highlighted in blue on day 19. And then that. So that is the class schedule. Again, if there are any, look over it on your own time. And then if there are any questions, email or message me. I put some frequently asked questions here at the end, right after the class schedule. These are questions that have come up over the years that, you know, get asked over and over and over again. And so to clarify, I put them here. So read through those, right? Especially in terms of absences, discomfort, extra credit, regular and effective contact, you know, grading and things like that. So look at those. And then we have some odds and ends, right? First off, don't plagiarize. I do this for a living. I'm going into my 12th year of teaching. I'll say I've had roughly 100 to 150 students a semester, 2 semesters, if not 3 semesters a year for the last 12 years. And each of those students do an average of 5 essays per class. So let's see, 5 times 100, 25 times 2 times 12. I've read a lot of work. So if you think that I don't know when someone is handing in work that is not their own, I do. It would be as if I started speaking in a Nigerian accent in the middle of this recording. The record in your brain would skip and you would go, what is she doing, right? In that same sort of vein, you have a written voice, you have a written style, and I can tell when that voice is not your own. So just don't plagiarize. It's tacky, it's foolish, it's prohibited, and it's going to earn you an F that you can never make up. So don't do it. Let's see, what else? I do use turnitin.com. Everything will be submitted through Canvas, obviously, because this is an online course. So be aware of that. One thing I always say in class is, like, if you are uncomfortable in this class because your zone of learning is being challenged, right? Your sort of comfort level as far as how much you're learning is being challenged, that's a good kind of discomfort, right? Like if you're reading words that you've never read before and you have to check the dictionary, or you have to ask people what is, you know, what's neoliberalism or whatever else, you know, those are, that's a good kind of discomfort. Because if we were never challenged in education, we'd all still be working at a first grade level. And we don't want to be doing that, right? At least I hope not. But if you're being made to feel uncomfortable because someone is harassing you or dehumanizing you or saying things that offend you, that needs to be dealt with. But I can't deal with things that I don't know about, right? So that has to be brought to my attention. So that kind of goes along with the non-discrimination statement. The withdrawal policy, right? 75% of the way through the course is when you can withdraw with a W. Otherwise, you after that, that would be, let's see, 75% of the way through the course. 3/4 of 24 would be day 18, right? So after day 18, you have to earn an A through F letter grade. If you're not dropped, or if you don't drop yourself by day 18. I know in the spring semester of 2020, we had the excused withdrawal that was automatically given to a lot of students who withdrew. That is not the case for summer. So don't bet on that. So again, keep up, do the work, try your best. If you have to withdraw, do it. But that excused withdrawal option is now gone, right? As of May 23rd, 2020. Sexual harassment and sexual assault are zero. I have a zero tolerance policy for that in my class. So again, anything that I'm made aware of, I will nip it in the bud immediately. And there's other information there, campus information, etc., that you can utilize to make sure that all of your bases are covered in terms of sexual harassment, things like that. If you are the person doing the sexual harassing, again, zero tolerance policy. There is absolutely no room for that in my classrooms or in any classroom, any room really in this world. So just keep that in mind. DSS, right? If you learn differently, DSS statement is down here. If you learn differently, I would highly recommend, if you never had an IEP in high school, or sometimes called an ILP if you go to like a private school, which stands for Individualized Education Plan, but you still learn differently and you feel like the way that the traditional classroom model, even the online model, the way that it functions isn't working for you, I would highly recommend testing through DSS. And there are any number of things that are umbrellaed under DSS, under the Americans with Disabilities Act. Those include things like testing anxiety, depression, mental health issues, physical disabilities, learning disabilities, right? But you don't know what you qualify for until you take that test. And I have a student who she always asks me to share her story with her. She's probably the most brilliant student I've had in my 11 and a half years of teaching. She was a DSS student and she didn't utilize her DSS for a few years. And when she started doing it again, it just helped her to sort of get back on track. She was a brilliant student, but she needed to learn in a way that was conducive for her. And again, this 30-person in a classroom model, that's a lot of people, right? It doesn't always hit all the marks, all the targets, and that's to be expected. So if you learn differently, right? If you, if this method isn't entirely serving you, sign up to get a test through DSS, see what you qualify for, and let your instructor know. And that information is right here to contact the DSS office, so use it. Let's see, so that's the end of the syllabus. I guess I can get off the stop share screen. But again, it's nice to meet you all. You're going to be seeing a lot of this semester, so sorry in advance if it's, rough already. You will also see my framed portrait of Mariah Carey in the background. Don't ask. But email me if you have questions. I'm more than happy to help. I want to be here to help you. There may even be people who have never sat inside a college classroom or online classroom. So if any of this is like, what the heck? It's my job to, again, help you navigate this and get you to the next stage. So as long as you meet me 50-50, right? I'll do 50% of the work as the instructor, you do the other 50 as the student. Always know that I'm here to help you. So email me, contact me, message me through Canvas. I may find other ways of, if you want to Zoom, we can Zoom, whatever. But welcome to the course, and I hope you enjoy it, and best of luck. All right, have a great day. See you in cyberspace. Bye.